Happy New Year, everyone. First Saturday of the year in 2021. Today, we're going to keep you updated in what has been happening starting from the New Year's Eve until now or previously in the past couple of weeks. So a couple of things to look forward to. We have one of the biggest moments that will be happening, which is January 6th. So January 6th is one of the most important days for the Electoral College to get together and make their final vote on who will be the United States president between Donald J. Trump and Joe Biden. So as the election continue throughout the end of 2020, there has been massive chaos and massive confusion among a lot of people with the high tech and the media and the social media as well. And people are starting to wake up and realizing that there has just been so many lies that are drawn to the American people. And plus with COVID-19, many people that are affected and people losing business and their jobs and staying at home and children not being able to go to school. So we have experienced quite enough in 2020. And now that we are entering into 2021, we hope that by the will of God, they will announce who will be the right president to lead this country in the next 4 years. And hopefully in this next 4 years, we can aim for the best and not for the worst for the country as well. So January 6th is the main day that is marked in our calendar, and all the senates and the majority leaders in the political world are now heading to D.C. So it's just a few countdown away, and that's going to be this week. It's very close by. Today is Saturday, and I believe it's going to be Wednesday or Thursday. So this week is where all these majority leaders, the congressmen, the Senate, the House will be in D.C. to certify, to cast their certifications for their next president vote. And Mike Pence, who is the vice president of Donald J. Trump, will lead and announce who will be the president. Just like any awards show, when you have the main host who will open the certificate of who the next president is. So Mike Pence has that role, and he will be announcing the president of United States. So it's a very exciting day to look forward to, but it can also be very, not sure if I would say scary at the same time, but we hope that that day is not going to be crazy or massive, like things we hear from the media as far as military being deployed and all those other federal police that are going to be there. Because whatever the result is going to be, one side is definitely not going to be happy. So some things are probably going to go down, so it's definitely a day for everyone to be aware, be prepared, and be safe for that day. Second update we're going to go to now is the senator have override Mr. Trump veto last few days ago. So the veto was based on the stimulus bill that was released last week for the American people and the small businesses loan and things that can help our economy get back up in this hard time that we had in the end of 2020. So the veto was override, and they have agreed, Senator Leader Mitch McConnell has agreed with Donald Trump of giving the American people $2,000 for each adult and $4,000 for each couple. But it was vetoed, and many of them did not agree to it, but some of them have appealed to it, including the Democrat Party, who have agreed to that. And Mitch McConnell decided that, we will approve it as long as we can appeal Section 230. Which is a liability for social media and the media high tech as well, which can affect them as well. So basically what is telling to the American people is that the high tech and the media, they will only report based on real journalism, not telling the American people the lies that they have been telling the people. And it's definitely going to go against the Democrat, because everything they have been planning to do, it is the media that helped them pass these agendas or their plans and everything they have been doing. So it's going to be a hard decision for the Democrats to even agree on that veto. So we're still waiting on more updates on what they have finally decided. But they passed the bill that starting this week, starting Monday, that American people will start getting their $600 stimulus check directly into their account if you have registered your account with it, or however you receive your stimulus from earlier in 2020. And for those of you who do not have a direct payment account, it will be mailed to you. So definitely check with the IRS and check your status, check your address to make sure that you get your stimulus. And in the meanwhile, while the senators leaders are working on their vote to agree on the 2000 stimulus, the remaining will be sent to the American people as well once it is approved. So the approval of the stimulus bill also include appealing Section 230. So that's one of the main updates that's going on. And Trump tweeted not too long ago on the appeal. So I'm gonna read it to you directly based on what he said on it. And he believed that Trump tweeted after the vote that Senate Republicans had missed a big opportunity to get rid of Section 230, which would appeal the social media liability shield. So now, going on forward, we're not sure how the new year went for a lot of people, but it seems like majority of the people have celebrated their new year peacefully at home with their family, with their loved ones, with the immediate households that are in the households as well. So it's really not a lot going on. But meanwhile, in Portland, there was a massive riot that happened, clashing with the police officers there. So the riot got very violent and it got very dangerous to the point where instead of throwing the fireworks in the sky as the normal New Year celebration we would have, they were throwing it at the police officers. So the federal police that were deployed there in Portland in New Year's Eve, it has created a huge clash between the civilians and the police officers. Other stores and a lot of businesses, about 8 businesses were vandalized and they were also destroyed, including about 2 police officers, Portland police officers were injured, but they are okay now. So that's what's happening there in Portland, and it's a sign, you know, all the things we have went through 2020. People are fed up. People are fed up with the lockdown, with the COVID. They are very stressed out, and this is just an outrage reaction of those things that took place. And people have grew in large, massive crowd, and the crowd kept coming. So around 11:37 p.m. on New Year's Eve, things got even worse and more violent as well in Portland. So we'll see how things turned out there, and that's what happened on New Year's Day. Now, continue on to some of the other highlights that I wanted to speak out about. Also continue on with the stress and the outrage of the American people with COVID-19 politics and the shutdown, the lockdown, and about 8.5 are predicted to be in the poverty line. And these are regular American citizens who have lived their life, hardworking Americans who have worked their normal jobs, had their income, and were able to manage their life, are experiencing poverty for the first time. Now, in Kansas City, a mayor have resigned due to the fear of the face mask mandate that was opposed 3 months ago. So the people were not accepting the face mask mandate. People are protesting, acting against it. She has been getting a lot of threats, as she reported in the ABC News. There's been a lot of threats towards her, and it had put her life and her family in danger as well. So Mayor Joyce Warshaw is her name. She decided to resign 3 days ago, and felt like, you know, it was a better decision for her safety and her family as well, and no regrets in that as well. So she she felt like, maybe this is something that she needed to do in order to calm the anger of the people. But the people are more outraged with all these restrictions and these face masks mandatory against COVID-19. So that's one of the biggest updates going on there. We'll see what happens next to some of these other mayors and leaders and how the pressure falls in their hands as people retaliate back. And going on to the vaccine. So over 1 million people, 1 million people have already received the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccine in the last few months since it's been released. So there's been 2 reports that have showed that the vaccine, 2 people that took the vaccine lost their life after taking the vaccine. And whether that is the cause by the vaccine or it is their own underlying condition, it is being investigated currently by the health department as well. And these are 2 elderly men. And the health department reported that even if you have an underlying condition or you have some other health problems, that the vaccine is not going to protect you from those things. So people could still lose their lives even after receiving the vaccine. So that's something to be aware about. And, some of the reports that are coming out, it is still being under investigated as the Pfizer biotech vaccine trials appeal that 2 people have passed away during the trial. So more information to come on what will happen with the vaccine and how it protects people as well. So with the new strain of COVID-19, which has now mutated to COVID-20, it kind of brings a lot of questions to people. So if we went from COVID-19 to COVID-20, does that mean each year the number is just going to go higher? And as it go higher, does that mean it's going to get stronger and it's going to spread a lot faster and quicker? So what did that say to a lot of people is raising a lot of concerns as far as I would say. So with COVID-20, the new strain that broke out in UK last 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, I believe, UK has banned all traveling going into UK and out of UK because of the new strand. So the new strand has already made his way into the United States. They have announced the first COVID case in California last week, and recently the second state is Colorado, and I believe the third state is Texas. Colorado is the second state to receive their COVID case, and then there's a third state as well. So 3 states in the United States have already confirmed their new strand coronavirus cases. As Dr. Fauci reported it, saying the new strand will not affect the ability of the vaccine, and also is not any much difference from COVID-19 as far as the deadly rate of it as well. So he believes is something that we should not worry about. So based on his words, as he reported to one of the news, there is no evidence to suggest the new strain is more deadly. Fauci said he wasn't surprised that there was a case and likely more cases in California. We more than likely will be seeing more cases in other states. So, and the third state, which is Florida, that's the state I was trying to point out to you, is the one to have been announced just a few days ago to have their new corona cases. So this new strand is spreading out across the United States as far as we know it. What it means for 2021 is just like a repeat of the beginning of 2020. So at least people can be prepared and know what to do with this new journey of COVID-20 in 2021. Continue on. So those are the updates we have going on. And most importantly, here in the United States and around the world with COVID-20, now that we're in COVID-20, in the year of 2021, There's still going to be a lot of debates and a lot of battle with the face mask and the restrictions and the lockdown. So after the election is over and the final president of the United States has been announced, then we'll know which one direction we are all going to go with. Because one president supports, lockdown, and if we're going to have lockdown, it's better that the country, the whole entire country, will go on a national lockdown, meaning no businesses, nothing completely running. Because report has shown recently that Australia is COVID-free. Now, whether that's really true or not, we're not sure, but they have pulled that strategy based on locking down the whole entire country, and now they are COVID-free. But we'll find out more for how long they're going to stay COVID-free, or there's going to be new cases that's going to emerge. But that's probably one of the strategies that is most likely to take place here in the United States. Now, how is that going to affect the small businesses and the regular citizens? In my opinion, having a national lockdown where nothing is operating is like going on a pause completely, where no bills is generated or things like that, which I don't even know if that is possible as well in such a very high developed country. But it still brings a lot of worrisome to even bigger corporates as well. If they go on a national shutdown, it's going to affect them. So that's one of the ways we will go with one of the leaders. Now, the other leader does not support shutdown and lockdown as well. The virus is a virus, and it's here to stay, just like as it has been compared to the flu season. And strangely enough, the flu season has pretty much just kind of vanished, and we're dealing with COVID. So where some are saying COVID is not that much different from the flu season, and that we can manage to live through it. We know how to handle the virus. We know how to put all strategies and be able to wear face masks and social distance and things that we are capable to do as a regular citizen. Still be able to go straight to work and keep everything as normal as possible with the economy being open. So those are the updates I want to give you all. So stay tuned. Next talk show. We're going to have a very special guest. This is the story part of what is going on around. So stay tuned for it. You don't want to tune for it. You don't want to miss the story. Have a good
My whole life, my father told me stories about moving to the United States. He would tell me that his brother, my Uncle George, was already living here and let my father stay with him for a while. Through my Uncle George, my father was introduced to our cultural organization here in America, who helped him make connections, apply for college, find his first job, and adjust to life in a completely different culture than he was used to. The Cultural Association helped him get started on his new life. My Uncle George would bring my father with him to the annual Summer Cultural Groups Festival, and later, he would bring me. It was incredible to see so many people of all ages laughing and celebrating with food and song and dance. It brought back the best feelings of home and gave my father the opportunity to pass his culture, language, and values on to me. My father and Uncle George were very close, so when George died last year, my father wanted to honor his wishes to be buried with a traditional ceremony back at his birthplace. My father told me that because Uncle George had cultural group life insurance, he was able to afford to bring George home and have the traditional burial George wanted. Though my father had been able to honor my Uncle George's wishes, it got me thinking about my own family. One day, I'd have to make the same arrangements for my own parents and my wife's parents as well. Of course, we would want to bring them home and honor their wishes, but it would be a financial hardship for our family. There were a lot of things to think about, even though I really didn't want to think about them at all. When my father told me about cultural group life insurance, he told me it's intended to help families when they need it the most. It's not tied to an employer, so no matter where my career takes me, I'll always have coverage. The more people who participate and the younger they are, the more it helps keep the insurance premiums down for the entire association. Because my parents have cultural group term life insurance, there will be money available to help me provide the kind of service I want to give my parents. And by joining, I can put my mind at ease and continue to celebrate our traditions into the future. With cultural group life insurance, I can worry less and spend more of my time celebrating with the people who matter most to me.